Hi everyone. So I have a new product for you to partake in. One that I'm going to share with you, and that is Be Believe. So Be Believe in the power of playful learning. So dive into the world of wonder with Be Believe's rich collection of animations, catchy songs, playful coloring pages, hands-on activity sheets, and engaging ebooks. Each element is thoughtfully crafted to captivate young minds while reinforcing positive behaviors in a fun and meaningful way. Whether your little one is watching a magical adventure, singing along, coloring their favorite character, or reading an enchanting tale, every moment is packed with joy, learning, and imagination. So if you go to our unique code or link in order to not only support Be Believe, but also support the podcast, you can head to be-believe.com/reality2. So that's www.believe.com/reality2. So that is REALITEATWO. And the link is also in the show notes where you can also link to that. So head on over to Be Believe with our unique code link, and you can unleash good behavior through enchanting tales, where imagination and good behavior unite. Thank you, Be Believe, for supporting this podcast. Now, back to the show. Patreon going strong. If you want to go over there and join in on the fun, we got 3 tiers on Canadian dollars. First tier is $3 a month, where you get these episodes ad free. You also get AMAs once a month, or learn about me episodes once a month. And then on the second tier, which is $5 a month, you get everything from the first tier, as well as coverage of a reality show of yesteryear. That's right now Jersey Shore, currently in season 3. You can also go to the main feed, where there will be the first episode of every season released there, so you can try that before you head over to the Patreon. And then on the third tier, you get everything from the first 2 tiers, as well as coverage from a true crime documentary. We got the backlog of Ashley Madison documentary, Man with 1,000 Kids, Into the Fire, Lacey Peterson, and again, all those episodes for the first episode of each is in the main feed, so you can try that before you head over. So if you are interested, you can head over to patreon.com/realityt2, and you can sign up for whichever tier you feel for. Again, you can try before you buy, which basically means you can try any tier for a week before committing to it. Even if you are on other tier, if you are on tier 1 or the first tier and you want to go over to the second tier, you could still try that second tier for a week before committing to the upgrade. So again, that is at patreon.com/realityt2. And of course, the link is in the show notes, website, social media accounts. It's all available there. Welcome to Reality Tea Times 2, the podcast where we discuss all the trash reality TV we love to hate. I'm Tanika, and today we're going to be discussing Love is Blind. Probably going to be doing 2 episodes in this episode. Most likely, we'll see how that goes, but let's just get right into it. Episode 6. So we left off with Patrick and Casey talking to each other at the women's hotel. And she tells him, I can't do this. I need to go home. Yeah, because clearly I have such an issue about being on TV, even though this is like the, I don't know, 10th reality television show to come to me and want me here. So, but yeah, like I can't do this. She says, I'm not saying that he's a bad looking guy, but by saying it, that is exactly what you're thinking. She says he deserves someone who is obsessed with him. And that's not me. I'm not obsessed with him. No. She says it has nothing to do with how he looks. Yet again, she's saying that again. Well, she's saying it to him. And he says, well, we can slow down. We can do that because I am so desperate to be married. Um, but personally, for me, at this point, you're like, hmm, is she telling the truth? Is it really that she can't handle being on the show? But honestly, when you're watching this as it's going along, you forget she's been offered reality television shows before. Um, and then obviously what's to come in a few minutes. You're like, oh, well, there you go. But in the moment, you're just like, am I crazy? So he says that, but I say like I don't think she's fully explaining things. Something is missing. And they're not gonna go to Baja with everybody else. He says, it's fine. It's fine. I don't need a trip to Mexico. It's fine. Um, we don't need to do that. We can go home and we can slow down. We can do that. He says, I still feel good about her, but we're just gonna take it slow. Yeah, we're not gonna go to Mexico. That's going too fast. We're gonna go back to Denver and we're gonna take it slow. He says, like, I don't think she's gaslighting me. No, I don't think so. I think we definitely have attraction. He ends up asking though, because he knows something ain't right. And it's sad in this sense because he's dealt with this kind of thing before of not of people not accepting who he is. Um, so I think there's that little inkling in the back of his mind that's saying to him, this doesn't feel right. So he asks producers, did she tell you anything? Did she tell you that it was just because you need to go home? What did she tell you? Like, and then, y'all, as if we are in the middle of the cuties situation, 45 minutes earlier, we see Casey with the producers, and she says, I don't think I'm attracted to him. Mm-mm. I don't think my attraction to him is going to grow. This is what she's saying. Like, with smiles, the whole bit. That's what's happening. And I don't know if I catch it here, but I will say it in a second. Um, it's like I don't think I can get there with him at all. And here's the thing. This in contrast with her hugging on him, kissing on him, jumping on him, all of that. And it was kind of that made me say something is missing. And then when we got that video 45 minutes earlier, it's like, you are an actress. You are an actress, ma'am. You are full of shit. I wouldn't even say it's gaslighting. That's not the definition of gaslighting, but it's playing games with him. She is playing with him and not telling him the truth. Whether it's because she doesn't want to look like the bad guy or she doesn't want to hurt his feelings or she's just playing it up. Whatever the reason is, some of that I can give you grace for. But if you're playing it up, playing this role, this is sick. And this is why I was saying, y'all, Denver's gonna suck because it seems like everyone is more concerned with say with me, y'all, if you remember from Maps Denver season, it's all about the optics. Yeah. Anyways, We're done with that, though. That's the end of Patrick um, and Casey. I did get that right. Anyways, Nick and Vanessa are back. Yay. We're going to go to Mexico with only the 5 couples at this point. So at this point now, for my podcast, we go couple by couple, group by group. If the groups are coming in, you know the deal. So let's get into it. Edmund and KB. So he's giving her gifts already. Got her some shoes. We got matching shirts. They're cute right now. So they end up getting a moth, and she wants him to kill it, but he's like, no, we're going to catch this beautiful moth. We're going to take it outside. It's life. We're going to keep the life. Now, here's where, okay, anyone who's, again, I always reference reality gays because I love them. Um, anyone who's watched reality gays, if you're on the Patreon, they have what we like to call Mothgate. Funniest thing I have ever seen in my entire life. I think it might have been on their socials as well. Um, but it was about a year ago. The funniest thing ever. Where you see flailing over a moth. Me, I don't get freaked out by moths. I've had moths in my house many a time. Don't know how the hell they get in, but they do. Um, I don't get scared by them. And I don't feel the need to kill it or anything like that. But if they're small, we've had like tiny little baby moths, and that doesn't bother me. But we did have a big ass moth in my house, and I'm like, what in the God is that? And I did have to kill it. I did have to vacuum it. I didn't feel good about it. I had to do what I had to do. Anyway, she takes off her makeup and her eyelashes, the whole bit. Um, and she wears contacts as well. So she takes the contacts out and she puts on her glasses, and that is her, y'all. She says that she doesn't want to be Miss Independent. She heard the Neo song and she's like, listen, Neo, I don't want to be Miss Independent. No, I don't want to be that. I I will be if I need to be, but like I don't want to be. And I joke here, but I get it. Um, you get to a point in life where yes, I can be independent. I can take care of myself, and goddamn, I can take care of you too. But at the same time, I don't want to take care of you, and sometimes I want you to take care of me. I totally get it. Um, so I get her. I do get her. She says, "We in the club." This is so. Before I finish this is when I started to feel a little iffy on KB because I'm like, what is this? Like, why? If this was any other person but Edmund, or if Edmund was any other person than who he is in this moment, would you ask him this question? It made me feel like a little, and we'll get to more when we get to it. But this is when I started to think, eh, like I don't know if I like this, but we'll get to where I shift a little bit. But in this moment, I was a little taken aback by her. So she says, "We in the club." And some guy puts his hand on me saying, "I want you. What you gonna do?" He's like, "Well, shit, I'm gonna get security. I ain't throwing hands." That is the right attitude, my guy. Listen, let me finish. Let me finish. Um, he says that he is too good for that and wants to be better than any other guy she says that she wants him to be. Um, and he wants to be better than who, you were the day before. But the thing is that she keeps pressing him. Okay, but he's not letting me go. So, like, what are you gonna do? He don't care about security. What are you gonna do? Security's not there. What are you gonna do? And she keeps pushing it as if she wants to hear him say, "I'm gonna fight this motherfucker for you." That is not Edmund. You don't need to be smart to know that that ain't him. Not only that, why do you want that? Why do you want to put your man in a situation where he has to fight for you? Why? I have never been in a situation where I feel like a man or my man needs to physically fight for me. Never. Stand up for me if I need you to do, but even that, I don't need you to do that. I can take care of myself. So it's like, why do you feel the need to have a man who's going to throw hands and then potentially get in trouble? Because here's the thing, I'm going to assume, I'm assuming I could be totally wrong here, but I'm going to assume that this is a Black woman who prefers to be with Black men. And in the society that we are currently in, the last thing you want is your Black man fighting somebody else. That's the last thing you want because guess what's going to happen? Your Black man is going to end up in jail. Your Black man could potentially have assault charges on him, and that can mess up everything for him. So why would you want that? It was in this, I'm like, you don't want a husband, you want a bodyguard. Like, this is not like what you want. Now, obviously, things can happen. And yes, men can throw hands. Absolutely. But like, I think, and, we've done the episodes or at least I've watched the episodes. I can't remember if I will be finishing Jersey Shore at some point, y'all. Probably won't be till the new year and then we'll head back into 90-Day Universe. But if anyone remembers from the final main season, sixth season, that, we had Jenny trying to get in the middle of a fight between, I don't know if it was a patron or um security or whatever at Bamboo. And she wanted to get in the middle of that so that Roger wasn't fighting people. That's what I'm not saying that's right either, because, men, well, it didn't go well, didn't go good. So it's, I get it. That's what we want to do. I want to protect our men. So you want to throw your man into the depths of potentially getting hurt to, you want to, I want a man who will, I know that's the words, for your honor. That's what you want. I could go on about this forever, but like, I just didn't like that. Anyways, moving on from that. Megan and Jordan, not a lot here. You like arm tickles? Back tickles? Head tickles? What about penis tickles? I thought that was funny. And down an alley. Again, not a whole lot, but apparently he doesn't kiss with his eyes closed, and that's really weird. I do question you though, because how do you know his eyes are open unless your eyes are open? I'm just saying. But apparently he doesn't do that, and that's really weird. Um, just like close your eyes when you're kissing. And like he really has, it's weird. It's really like, my guy, have you seen movies and stuff like that where people are kissing? Did you see their eyes open? Like, it's very weird. But um, and then she kind of goes into the size of the ring. Here's what, y'all, I've talked about this before. I don't need you to spend thousands of dollars on an engagement ring. That is not what I need, because while you're putting thousands of dollars into an engagement ring, you could be putting thousands of dollars into rent, household things we need, grocery shopping, whatever else can come up. I don't need that. I do not need that. And I will never understand. And listen, go on to bad self if that's what you want. But I'm just saying, 5K is a lot of money. 10K is even more. And I don't know why you think that's necessary, especially when she's really talking about the fact that she wants to keep going with her Botox. I just, anyways. Yeah, she says 5K on a ring should be at least 10K for like appreciation for your future wife. He just met you like 10 days ago. Anyways, moving on. Joe and Madison, y'all. I think this is the episode where we see the cracks in barely a foundation. So she struggles to see in low light, the poor thing. She says she's fallen downstairs before. She has motion sensor lighting in her house, so when she walks by lighting, it will, shine light so that she is seeing properly. Then she takes her extensions out, um, and then she, poor thing, she falls down the stairs because she can't see. She can't see properly. He says, I am usually more attracted to thinner women, but he's still hopeful that the physical attraction is going to get there. It's not going to get there. Because here's the thing, it's not that she's a big woman. She's curvy as hell. She's fucking gorgeous. Any man in their right mind would see her and be like, God damn, can I have that? Meanwhile, this guy wants to be with maybe Allie would have been a better choice for him. No hate on, because I'm sure Allie got a butt. We know Brazilian girls have butts, but it's just, is it insecurity? Is it you think you're not man enough? I don't know. But to say like I'm usually more attracted to thinner women when you're talking about a woman who is beautiful. And we are trying to put we should be trying to put reality television in a place where we want to see reality. We don't want to see the 1% that looks like Ali or Jessica or people who say we're gonna need an EpiPen, you know what I mean? And not to say that those women are not beautiful. Of course they are. But they are the 1% where it's like they're so flawlessly beautiful that they must wake up that way. And I'm sure they don't. Of course not. It's not realistic. But like Madison is just a normal woman, curvy, gorgeous, not perfect. I love her, honestly. I really do. And I do think she deserves a lot better than this pipsqueak of a man who is like, I'm usually more interested in thinner women. Fuck you. Anyway, so she says, I feel like you are my person. Like, do you feel the same with me? And he says, yes, but he seems a little unsure because, as we've just talked about, he's usually more attracted to thinner women. Anyways, so she says on a boat that I always feel like I say, I love you first because he doesn't love you. If you have to constantly say it first, he doesn't love you. He just doesn't, you know? Anyway, she says, he will say it when they are having sexy time, aka sex. That does not love. If a man is gonna listen, it depends, of course. But when you're in this early stage of a relationship, yeah, no, that's not love. Well, he in love, but he ain't in love with you. He in love with something. That's what he's in love with. And I come from this from experience, and I think I've told the story before, where my boyfriend, when we first met 8 years ago, did the same thing to me within a couple weeks of us talking. And yeah, we had sex prior to that, but he did it to me and said that he loved me. And it's like, no, you don't. And later on, he admitted, because I said to him, like, you remember when you said that to me? This would have been like fairly recent, actually, in the last 4 years or so. And I think, remember you said that to me? You didn't mean it, right? Of course, I know the answer to that. And he's like, no, because no, how could you? Obviously, he loves me now, and that's what matters. But it's like, no, he's in, like I said, in love with some, but he's not in love with you. There is a huge difference. Um, so as we just kind of talked about, they have had sex, but she says, I feel like I am not enough for you. And he says, I do love everything about you, and I love your body, which he could. He could be getting over that hump of, I mean, he's really more attracted to thinner women, but he's not going to fully get over that. Um, but basically, she is able to figure out that she is just not his typical type because he's bouncing around it. Honestly, you're better off facing that head on and allowing her to come to terms with it and get over it. Um, but instead he's dancing around it. Um, he says he was able to kind of put all of the pieces together with the emotions from the pod and now with the physical. So he just kind of had to, I guess, get there. Um, but yeah, more on that later. Annie and Nick, not a lot because I don't care. They're talking about kids' names. None of them better be gay. That's all I care about. But anyways, moving on. The group here. So Madison is like, Jordan is fully tatted, and I thought he would be Latino, not pinky white like me. um, Ali says Nick has lizard eyes. Yeah, they're called evil. Evil eyes. Um, she said, like, they see through, they see through you. Yeah, yeah. Anyways, Edwin and KB are waiting to have sex. Megan and Jordan have done the deed. Actually, to be honest with you, everybody has done the deed except for KB and Edmund, and that's okay. But that's going to come back later. Megan says, it is the best sex she has ever had. You get it, Jordan and Megan. You get that. You know what I mean? Um, show Mike how good you got it. You know what I mean? Anyway, so that doesn't matter. Edmund is like, I want to hit it before marriage. And I can understand that because I would think the same. I want to make sure it's actually compatible. I don't want to go into a marriage not knowing what that's going to be like and then being woefully disappointed. I don't think I want that. But I can also respect the fact that she wants to wait. Ain't nothing more powerful than holding on to something a man wants in that sense. And also just getting to know each other. At this point, y'all, they've only been in each other's lives for, well, I don't know, 10 to 15 days. 10 of those days being in a pod. you know, they haven't physically been in each other's presence. This takes time. So I totally respect that she wants to wait. But he says, who waits until after, you know? But Anton is like, I get it, but it's also about the connection because you can have uh, intimacy, even sexual intimacy, without penetration. So there's so many things you can do, and again, not just physical, that you can build upon that. You know, he does say, I'm going to start questioning if she has a connection with me, which I can also understand. But I think at this point, I don't know if I think we did see a conversation that they wanted to wait, but now I can't remember. But it's just, give it time. Then we got some sexy ass 90s music with Edmund massaging KP's feet, licking feet, he's trying to, spice it up. And Edmund says, I was crying over Brendan's broken heart. I said heartbroken. That's why I'm throwing myself off here. I was hurt. Like I was crying. Okay, I couldn't even look at the guy. But in this moment, I thought we were going to get a similar situation with Cal and I already forgot his name, y'all. Um, well, Cal and Sarova. So we're getting a similar situation with that. That's not Cal and Sarova. No, Cal and Katisha. And I thought they were getting a moment like that. But that is not what we got. Thank God, because Edmund, after hearing Annie, he says, "You would have missed out on Nick. She should be missing out on Nick. She should be missing out on Nick. Nick is a narcissist. Nick is freaking love bombing her. Nick is fake. Okay. She should be missing out on Nick." Anyway, just awkward as hell at this moment. We're going to get into that a little bit. I think someone says, or maybe it was Ali, might have been on Madison, honestly, but she says, I wouldn't peg Anton as a Russian. No, We know peg has many definitions. In this case, this is basically saying I wouldn't have thought Anton was Russian. But instead, Joe is like, you want to peg Anton? Well, I sure hope not. Are we too? Are we too? Can we not say the word peg without you thinking pegging? Like, you know what I mean? Are we too? Jordan is being a little bit annoying as well. Clearly, men being together just isn't a good idea, honestly. And Megan tells him straight up, like, you're annoying. You need to stop. Like, this is stupid. Act your age, basically. Madison ends up yelling at Joe that every time I try to talk to you, you talk over me, which is what he is doing. And you end up talking to somebody else, which is what he is doing. And then he says, I'm gonna go back to the room. Is that okay? I'm gonna take a nap. Is that cool with you? And she asks him, like, do you want me to come back with you? And he says no. And honestly, in this moment, I thought, like, in his defense, he's saying, no, no, you don't have to come with me. It's fine. Stay here, have fun. I'll just go back and get some sleep. But she takes it very differently. She is taken aback by him saying no, um, and saying, like, I don't want you to come. Like he's Edward fucking Cullen. I've been watching Twilight. But where he's like, I don't want you to come. Listen, girl, it's fine. He's not going to disappear on you. You're not going to, have visions of him, or if you read the books, audio, what's the word? Forget it, doesn't matter. But like, you're, it's fine. He's just go back to the room. He's going to get some sleep. That's it. It's going to be okay. But this is when shit hits the fan. And honest to God, I don't know whose side I am on yet. Maybe I do, and I just don't remember. So let's go through these notes here and come to a conclusion as we go. So Max and Joe, back at the room, she goes to him and he's like, oh shit. And then he's like, oh yeah, you dressed so nicely. Like he damn well forgot that she was at the mixer. And she's like, yeah, I was at the party. Oh, you were still there? Yeah, yeah, well, I just got back. Did you drink too much? No. Do you want some water? Sure. She says, are you okay? Because like you seem a little bit incoherent. Like, are you good? And he literally asked her the same question about 4 different times where have you been? Where have you been? And she's freaked out at this point, she says. And he says, you freaked out? And she's like, I have to walk away. I have to walk away because like this is so weird. I have to walk away. And she goes outside and he goes to the washroom. And then he says, I was just waking up. Like it's not a big deal. Now, let me pause here for a second. And I'm coming in from experience here because I've done this. Many times I have fallen asleep on our couch while watching TV. And my mother would wake me up, and I would wake up saying the dumbest shit. None of it makes sense to her, to me, to anybody. It would be comical, right? This is what would happen. So, yeah. And it wasn't that I wasn't drinking, but it wasn't anything to be freaked out about, really. It's because you're waking up, you could be a little disoriented. Maybe you were dreaming. Who knows what the deal is? But it is, I think, with the fact that he was probably drinking, he napped, he's probably in this weird state. It's just, that's it. That's all it is. That's all this is. And he woke up and he was a little bit disoriented. He was a little bit, delulu and woke up saying some shit. It's totally okay. She is spinning out of control for, in my honest opinion, no real reason. She needs to calm down. And I don't know where this is coming from for her, but she's acting like She's acting more crazy than him. Um, he says, "Are you coming in?" Oh, so yeah, he says, "Are you coming in hot right now?" And she says, "Yeah, I'm coming in hot. Like when I come and check on you, like yeah, I'm coming in hot." No, he wants to know, "Are you seriously gonna fight with me because I woke up a little bit cuckoo? You woke me up, it freaked me out. I maybe woke up a little bit like saying some weird ass shit, and you want to start a fight with me because I woke up saying some weird ass shit." That's what he wants to know. But they're falling apart right now. I do think we get a conclusion to this in the next episode, so we'll see what that's about. KB and Edmund. So I think Joe and Madison are gonna make it. Yeah, do you? Because right now they're fighting about whether or not he woke up Delulu. Is what they're fighting about right now. She says, "I may not want to be touched and held sometimes when I'm on my period," which I totally understand. We as women are different. One minute, and everyone is different, right? But one minute you may want to be touched and cuddled in the whole bed, and the next minute you're like, "Don't touch me. I don't like you. I hate the fact that you as a man doesn't experience what I have to go through." It's totally normal. And just throw chocolate at me, it's gonna be okay. You know what I mean? For you, maybe, not for me, but it's fine. So I get it. But the problem with him is, I don't know if he's been with anyone who's had a period before, but he says he would want to hold her when she's on her period. But did you not just hear what she said, my guy? She said, "Sometimes I'm not gonna want you to." You have to respect her space. Just because you are her man or her husband or whatever the case may be, does not mean you need to touch her. Let her be the one to tell you whether or not she wants to be touched or not. Let her be. You do not need to. Let her shed her uterine wall in however way she chooses fit. You know what I mean? He asks her, "So do you think people think we are the strong couple? Why does that matter? Why does that matter to you? You want to be out here being like a power couple, is that it? Why does that matter to you?" But he asks her this, and she says, "I don't think about what people think because ain't no one got time for that." But he does. He definitely thinks that. And I'm cool. Think that if that's what you want to think, that you are the strong couple. But who cares what other people think? Do I think they're the strongest couple here? No. Do I think any strong couples are really strong? No. So, no. Just worry about your own shit. Don't worry about what other people are thinking. And she says, "Those people don't pay you, they don't feed you, they don't do any of those things. So what does it matter?" Here's the problem, and I forgot about this. This is a person who went through the foster care system. He spent childhood having to care about what people think because based on what people thought of him would determine his life. So I understand him. But that means what you should be doing right now is getting therapy, not a wife. You're not ready. She says, "How do you feel that we are the only couple that hasn't had sex yet?" And he said that he did not know that they were the only ones. He did not know that. Again, your focus is on the wrong thing. You're focused on the fact that you are the only ones, you're the odd ones out here. Where meanwhile, she's asking you like, technically like she's asking the question, but I mean that doesn't matter. But I understand what she's doing here. Because you have to submit it to her, you care about what people think in terms of whether or not we're the strongest couple. So now I need to know how you feel about the fact that we are the only couple that have not had sex. So he says, "It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's not fine, clearly." But he's like, "It's fine." But she says, "I make people wait sometimes even 9 months." Like, girl, it's a gestational period. 9 months? I mean, good for you. 9 months? That's too long. That's too long. But anyways, do you, boo? These are the guys I just fuck, I don't respect. So she has her guys that she's fucking, but then this is what doesn't make sense to me. Like, are you dating these guys even casually? Getting to know them, not sleeping with them, then you're sleeping with other people? That doesn't compute. And I think it didn't compute to him either. Now, how he handles it is not good, but it doesn't make sense. Why? Why? Is this because you are just keeping the sex out of it and getting to know them, which is perfectly fine? Or are you fucking playing games with them, which is not okay? I've never heard of that before because I feel like if I'm focused on you and only you, or you, but taking my time and whatever, I'm going to focus on that as best as I can. Maybe you might, if you're not having sex with that person, you might slip and whatever. But it's my focus is on this. I'm gonna put my all into this, not part of me into this, while I'm also still giving my body to other people. And yeah, sure, you don't respect them, and that is okay. But you can't respect someone in a shorter period of time. Hell, 3 months. You can't respect someone in a shorter period of time, sex with them or the people you don't respect. That doesn't make sense to me. Now, that besides the point though, because he says, I'm giving you my all, but I can't have sex with you and people you don't even care about or they don't care about you. Have you? And that is a good point. Listen, we all have our things. I've had my things. I'll sleep with people that I don't give two shits about. But I'm also very, very, very single. And there's no one else. Because if I'm really vibing with somebody, I'm gonna want to focus on them, you know? I mean, that kind of way of thinking, I mean, I probably did that in my early 20s. Like, my boyfriend, when we had our ups and we had our downs, he was the main focus. Even when we weren't together sometimes, or we were fighting, or whatever the case, or we were together because we were fighting, he was still the focus. Even if we were still exploring things, getting back on track, not officially together, he was still the main focus. There was no one else. So it's just, I don't particularly understand that way of thinking. I don't. But if it works for her, it works for her. Um, he just doesn't get it. And I totally understand because I don't. And he says, what if it doesn't work out? So then that's what he's thinking, which is like, that's not the way to think about it. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Wouldn't you be happy that you didn't give your part of yourself to somebody that's no longer a part of your life? Men think differently though than we do, because I would think as a woman, I'm happy I didn't give my part of that to somebody who I'm no longer with now. So, but again, women think different. But he's like thinking, well, if I don't get to have sex with you and then we break up, well, then I'll never get to have sex with you. I mean, that should be the least of your concerns. She says, well, I still want to wait. And she says, I think sex is more sacred. But clearly it's not sacred because you are having sex with guys you don't respect. Meanwhile, the people you do respect, you're making them wait for a whole pregnancy. You know what I mean? It doesn't make any sense. That thinking doesn't make any sense to me. Um, and she says, I think you are upset that those guys have gotten cooch and you haven't. And I do agree with her. That is part of the problem. That he cares more about the fact, oh, well, these guys are having sex and I'm not. Ugh. I do agree with that. But I can also understand where he's like, I'm so confused by your logic. He says, I feel like I care about you more than you do me. That is also true. I do think he cares about her more than she does. I do think that. And he says, I'm too freaking nice because I'm so nice. I don't get to have sex. I should be like, I don't know. I don't know. I guess I should be kind of like Jevin. I should be a dick so that I get sex. Like, I don't think that's the problem. Nice guys get laid too. You know what I mean? I don't think that is the problem. I do think with Edmund, he has a lot of growing up to do. He has a lot of trauma to work through as well. I think that's the problem. Personally. Um, Not a problem, but he said, "This is why things don't work because I'm too nice. Everyone tells me I'm too nice, and you are telling me that, or more so showing me that." I don't know. She says, "You are comparing me to someone um, who I was a year ago." So she's claiming that she hasn't really done this recently. This was about a year ago. Who knows? She's like, "I think we can call it a night at this point," which, I get it. But y'all, that is it. And that is it for this episode. This episode was longer than initially intended, but it was good. It's a good episode. But anyways, that is it for me, guys. Like I said, that is it for this episode. So if you like what you heard, please rate, review the podcast on either Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Also, don't forget that you can also share us with everyone in your life if you really love this. And I do want to read those reviews. I'm definitely getting 5-star ratings, but I want to read those reviews. So send me those reviews and I will read those 4 and 5-star reviews on the podcast. Also, we're on every one of your favorite podcast apps. Every one of them, including you can find us on YouTube at Reality Tea Times 2. If you want to connect with us, you can do so by going to either Facebook or Instagram at Reality Tea Times 2. You can also find us on Twitter, TikTok, Reddit at Reality Tea Times 2 Pod. We also have our email, which is at realityteatimes2 at hotmail.com. Definitely want to hear from you guys. And we also have our new website where you can listen to all of these episodes. You can review the podcast on there as well. You can connect with me in any way, all the stuff. It's all there. And you can find me there at www.realityteatimes2, all spelled out, .podpage.io. It's there. And don't forget, I also have my other podcast with my friend Mikkel, Next Week Podcast, where we talk about all kinds of different topics. But you can find us on any of your favorite podcast apps over there as well. Or you can also go to YouTube and you go to Next Take Podcast, as well as our website, which is solo.to/Next Take Podcast. So yeah, there's that, and that's basically that. And again, don't forget, if all of this information is overwhelming, we do have all of the links, everything in our show notes. But that is it for now, guys. Thanks. Bye.